Hi there. It's Wednesday, July 1st at about 10:20 in the evening here. And hi there for those of you who haven't seen me post a video up here in a while. um, some things I want to talk about tonight. One in particular, which I must admit has been on my mind quite heavily for the last few days. And I'm not sure who's going to see this, but I'm hoping whoever does see it will hopefully be able to understand where I'm coming from and maybe you know, relate to it in some small way. And I'm talking about well, I hate to say the breakup of, but the interruption of a friendship, which has been going on for a few years now. You forgive me here if there's a lot of silence in this. I'm just trying to find a way to formulate what I have to say, because this isn't going to be easy for me. This interruption in the friendship was my fault. I'm not going to take all the blame for this because it isn't all my fault. There were misunderstandings and there were emotions involved. And without getting into too many details about what or who, needless to say, the words that were said were damaging. They were hurtful words. But they did not come from my heart. They came from a place of fear, from misunderstanding, from jealousy, maybe, a little bit. No, that's not quite right. Not jealousy. I had nothing to be jealous of. But I think they did come also from a place of well, misunderstanding and fear. Fear at being left out, anger, that kind of thing. Never really good ways of communicating to a friend, to anybody for that matter, about how you feel about things. And this friend didn't deserve it. This friend didn't deserve to be talked to that way. As a result of this, there's been no communication. All attempts to recommunicate have been met with silence. Their Facebook pages have been changed or, in some cases, eliminated altogether. So there's obviously no way to get a hold of them. I have sent friend requests, but at this stage in the game, it's not likely I'm going to get a response. And maybe deservedly so. In fact, if I were to be logical about this, it's going to take a bit of time for the hurt to either heal over or to be forgotten. Now, I have hopes that one day things will be able to be reconciled, and I will never stop hoping that. In the meantime, this person deserves to have some peace and quiet in their lives. They have a family to look after, and right now the last thing they need is to have somebody disrupting them and making them feel bad and, bringing up the pain, which leads me to having to deal with my own pain in my own way. And there is a lot of pain. Uh, there have been tears on my part. Can't speak for the other person, for my friend, but I should imagine that the way they feel, and from what I know of them, they've been probably hurt a lot too. If I had them here in front of me right now, my words to them would be simply this: I am sorry. I'm sorry for what I said to you, and I'm sorry for how it's made you feel. And I also want you to know at the same time that, despite what has been said and how it was said, that it does not reflect who I really am and how I really feel towards you. I care about you a great deal. And if I hadn't cared so much, I wouldn't have been making an attempt to apologize or to ask for your forgiveness on this matter. because I also know that it hurts us both right now, equally, you and I. Am I wrong to say this? Am I wrong to put myself out there like that? Maybe. Some people might be thinking that I'm weak. Some people might think, oh, you're being desperate, you're being needy. Maybe. Maybe it's that way. I don't know. One thing's for sure. This weighs on me. This weighs on my friend. They didn't need this, and frankly, I didn't need this right now, or at any other time. In this day and age, it's not always so easy to make friends. It's not always so easy to be around people. It's not always so easy to connect with other people. Things have changed so much in this world. We have so much crisis. There's so many things going on that's so hard to keep up. In fact, sometimes it's impossible to keep up. You just never know from one day to the next what you say or do, how it might have an impact on somebody, even somebody you know. You could be minding your own business and going along doing everything you've always done, and the next thing out of the blue, bang, somebody comes along and is just eager to shove it back down your throat or in your face. And if you're not careful, your feelings could get in the way, and the words that you say could end a friendship. Well, if my friend sees this, and this is directly addressed to them, I should say, you know who you are. I know who you are. And I've hurt your heart very deeply. I can't take that back right now. Nor am I going to try. I said what I said. And I've also apologized to you. I've also let you know, in no uncertain terms, how ashamed I felt of this, how terrible I felt of this, and how much I would desperately love to make this up to you. But the only thing that's going to do that is time. But I will say one thing to you, though. The door will always be open for you, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to shun you. I'm not going to shut you out. And someday, if you feel up to it, come and talk to me. Let me know how you're doing. Even if it's just to say hi. I won't mind. I won't mind at all. Because I miss you. And I really would like someday if we could talk again. As friends. Well, that's enough ranting right now. It's probably not what you're usually expecting from me, but this had to be said. And it's all part of the process I have to go through right now of dealing with this situation. No, I'm not trying to air any dirty laundry. I'm not trying to be dramatic about this because really there are more important things going on out in the world. But when it comes to matters of the human heart, it all has to start somewhere. So, if there's anyone out there watching this that can relate to this somehow or other, maybe you can take something from this and use it. For example, after something like this happens, go ahead and grieve. Go ahead and cry and get it out of your system. Go ahead and get angry and, go running or do whatever you gotta do. Just do it. Just get it done, because the longer you hold it inside, the more it's going to eat you alive. It's going to possess you like nothing else will. And until you address it, until you deal with it, you will not be able to sleep or eat or function properly. It'll be like a living hell. Secondly, make use of your time and your resources to keep doing the things you've always done while the friendship is intact. Move along as if there's nothing to see. Does that make sense? You know how you see an auto accident or some kind of mishap, and the police or the ambulance are there on the scene, and they're always saying, move along, nothing to see here, go about your business. Well, that applies to emotional matters too. You have to act as if everything's fine. You have to act as if it's okay. Get your grieving out of the way. Do it in the privacy of your own home, the comfort of your own room. Cry yourself to sleep on the pillow if that's what it takes, but deal with the grief privately. But in public, move along as if it's business as usual. Now, in addition to helping you keep perspective on what's going on around you, this has an additional benefit. And the benefit is that it shows the friend or the person that you had the loss with that you are able to stand on your own 2 feet. You're not a wallower. You're not going to be dragging yourself in the mud, desperately waiting to be rescued. That's not going to happen, believe it or not. I mean, the last thing you want is to have anybody, taking pity on you. That isn't going to help your case. In fact, it's just going to make you look worse. So, move along as if there's nothing to see. Third, this is a really important one too. No matter who you are, there are always going to be other people out in that world around you that you can be friends with, that you can get along with, that you can talk to and communicate with. So use that. Go out there and make new friends. Try to think of it this way. If you find yourself ever asking the question, how would I make new friends? The answer would be kind of like, I guess I'd want to make the kind of friends that would want to have me as a friend. And take it from me, you don't want to go losing control of your emotions when you're dealing with people, because I'll tell you right now, there's too much of that going on, and that's what leads to problems. I know. If I could take back some of the things I've said to people over the years, friends and acquaintances and things like that, I would. I would take them back. Just because of the fact that I didn't know better at the time, and I said what I felt like saying. And I was honest. I was honest about my feelings, and I was honest about how I expressed them. And that in itself is not bad, and that's nothing to be sorry for, and I'm not sorry for it. What I am sorry for is the effect it had on them, and consequently on me. But I cannot take that back. I cannot change the past. And right now, I can't cope with the loss of this friend. At least not very well. And that's why I feel like crying. Because this was particularly upsetting. So if it looks like there's a gleam in my eye, those are tears. That's all I have to say.